Hiker Jay here. This week I'm going to be talking about Goal Zero's new Yeti 200X. Now their X series is what they're coming out with this year in 2020, and this is the 200. I picked this because I think it's a perfect option for overlanding or car camping for a long weekend or week-long type trip. It's not really something you're going to do for a full off-grid system, but it works perfect for the way that I overland and also, car camp from. And then I'm going to talk about the accessories that go along with it that I have found that are perfect when it comes to going out camping, driving around, exploring in your Jeep, but also finding woodland trails and hiking and having power sources. So first I'll go over the Yeti 200 itself, and then I'll go into all the accessories that I have along with it that I think really complement it in a big way. If this is the first time to my channel, if you could hit subscribe, that would be awesome. I put out new videos on outdoor gear and such every week. And as always, all the products that I'll be talking about will be down in the description down below, so you can check those links out as we go along. So first off, how do I use this? So we use this for overlanding, car camping. So we go on a lot of state land, drive back a ways, camp, and don't really have a power source. Now I could have went with the 500 series, but I love the portability of this 200 series. It's so small and it has functioned in a great way because you can have it in the Jeep, powering up in the Jeep, and then you can take it at night and put it on the picnic table around the campfire and people can charge things. Then when you head into your tent or into your Jeep or whatever, wherever you sleep, you can bring this along too and power your battery. And you know how it is, like when you're on a trip and you lose cell phone charge overnight, like I hate that. So this will keep it going. You can keep it plugged in all night and it will charge it. I found that the 200 was really good because when all the testing that I've done with it, it comes all by percentage, and a cell phone, standard Samsung, will pull about 3 to 4% battery from this. So that's pretty awesome. I can charge a phone on this a lot. And then I can also put up light systems for an evening so that you can see in your tent or around camp. So for me, this has been perfect because the way we use it is, yes, we charge it on the wall before we leave, but then from there on out, when we're exploring during the day, I plug it in with this adapter, the actual 12-volt adapter. One thing that you do want to know, you get this from Goal Zero, you can only charge it on 5 amps. You do not want to have it on 10 amps. That's for the larger sizes. But keep this plugged in while you're traveling around and exploring the woods, and it charges up for the day. I probably will go solar because it's totally equipped for solar to plug in the back and works really well that way. I mean, Goal Zero has been doing that for a long time. I just knew that this was the system that I wanted to start out with. And then when I start to do longer trips where I'm staying put a little longer, that's when I think the solar will come in. I think it works really well for us because we drive around during the day exploring the wilderness. Now, enough on how I use this. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of this thing. It's a 187 watt lithium battery that powers this bad boy, and it does a great job. Takes about 4 hours with a wall charger to charge it up and get powered. I say it's probably about 5 hours, so give yourself 5 hours, no problem. I tend to just plug it in before I go to bed, and in the morning it's fully charged, and then you've got 100% on there. Right now I'm running at 48%. It has hookups for all types of USB-C in and out. You can actually power in on one of these, and you can also power out in another power out. It's got all that smart technology, so it reads what the cell phone, the maximum charge rate is, and it does that, all that balancing for you. And then we've got 2 USB ports as well to go out, a 12-volt port, and then of course your AC volt right here. Now, I've done a bunch of different testing on different things with this. The USB-C is obviously awesome on a cell phone. Works great, charges them up just great. Works really well on like a GoPro as well. We'll charge that up, no problem as well. They will take some time to charge these, but I find like because it's smart technology, it charges just as well as being plugged in at home on the wall. And then with the AC, I did actually take a lamp one day with a 60-watt bulb in it and let it run. Now that will drain this bad boy pretty quick. I think I had it plugged in for 3 hours and I lost 50% of this thing. So the AC is going to draw a ton more than obviously being down in these like 12-volt systems. But it will do it if you need it to. So like a laptop would really suck a lot of the energy out of this. But if you're really just charging headlamps, phones, cameras, you're going to be able to get multiple charges off of this thing, or even just to top off your phone. Honestly, that's what happens. It sits in the back of the Jeep there, and my son's able to plug in and he can just top off his phone while he's using it. So then if we go on a hike, that's the worst thing. You go on a hike and you're already at like 30%. and then you get somewhere and you want to take a picture and it's already dying. So it's nice to actually keep your system topped off. So that's everything on the front. Now in the back is where you have the charging port, where you plug in with your either wall charger, your 12-volt charger, or a solar charger. And then it also has a fan system in here. The fan's really quiet. I got the fan to go on when I was charging it with the wall charger because I think it's a pretty fast charging, and it's really quiet, not annoying at all. So if you have it on in the car, you probably won't even know that the fan is running. But make sure that you don't like put this up against something like a jacket or whatever in the back of your car and just let it sit there, because it will get kind of hot, but nothing too crazy hot. It does come with the USB-C cord right here so that you can plug in and use it. And I like these little 10 or 8 or 10 inch cords. Here's the 4 or 5 inch cords that they have too. So I got some of these, and then it was kind of like I didn't want to lose them. So I got those cord keepers, you know, the cord keepers that you use for something like a mouse on a table or whatever. They're like these, made by 3M. I'll put a link down to those because it's pretty nice to actually have them on there and go around, because my families tend to just grab this now. Like if they're going somewhere for a long day, track meet or something, they'll grab this because they can just have it sit there and charge. So it's good to have all the different cords, because we still have systems that are obviously Android. Some other friends have Apple, and then we have USB-C. So there's a whole different mix of them. So I like to be able to have the cords on there and they're not going anywhere. So that's kind of a fun little hack on that. Works pretty well. So turning this on, you do want to know something right off the bat, is that each of these squares are different. So this is a 12 volt, this is a USB, and then this is the AC. So whichever one you're going to turn on, say I'm going to charge this phone, plug in a cord, I'm going to hit the USB, and then it's going to come on with just a percentage, but it's not charging yet. Then you have to hit it again, and a little light goes on for its charging. Because you could be charging USB, you could also be charging at a AC as well. So you look at the light, and that's when it's actually sending out power. So if the light is not lit, you can turn it off that way or like that. Even though the percentage is up, you're not putting any power out. So remember that your little light for whichever system you're on needs to be lit up, or else you're not going to be sending any power through it. So my wife made that mistake once, and it's kind of a bummer because you think you were charging the whole time, but you really weren't. And then you'll see the percentage as it drops, and you can see what kind of draw you're putting on it. That's basically it. So easy, so light, so foolproof and simple to use that it's perfect for a family when you're going out camping or backpacking. Now, let's talk about the pieces that I think you should get that can accompany it. So you're out there, you're driving around, you find some really sweet trail, and this happened to us. We were up in Pictured Rocks, and we went for a hike. Well, when you're hiking out there for a while, all day long with a backpack, and you have your lunch and everything, your cell phone's trying to find towers, all that stuff, and dies. So that's where the Goal Zero 70 Venture comes into play. So the Venture is kind of large, but it's great for, now we're going to go away from the car, take this with us. You can get about 6 charges of your cell phone from this bad boy. Massively water resistant, rubberized, it can take shock. It does have a light on it, so if you wanted to use it as a light, you could use it as a light. And also it has these little hidden spots for all the charging cables, which I absolutely love, because then you don't have a cable hanging out anywhere. But if you put this into one of the USB ports and then hook it into your phone, you can have your phone just sitting over like that and charging in your backpack, or you could even hold it still and use it. So I really like that this is all compatible. It's all Goal Zero stuff. And I know that these are a little bit more expensive, but I think for the build and the make and how long they can last for you, it's really smart to do. Now, they do have them where they charge with either USB or USB-C or something like that, micro USB or USB-C. I got the USB-C. I got the older one. I don't have the micro on there, but still, that's just fine. I've got those cables everywhere, and I can charge this in the Jeep as we're driving along too. So the Venture 700, absolutely awesome. No matter what, if you're going to do this system for car camping, have another system that you can throw in a backpack and charge while you're on hikes and day outings. So those are the 2 power sources, which are pretty great to have if you're doing a long weekend on a trip. You're not going to run out of power where you can charge on a car. Of course, I'm going to add solar at some point, but I feel like that's at the point where I'm doing longer trips, staying put for longer. Now, lights. Goal Zero has some really cool lights. Now they have this light that they have a couple different ones, but this is the 350, the Life one, and it's pretty awesome how they made it. Number one, they've got a plug that goes right into the front here at the 12 volt, and it plugs in and it draws hardly anything. I have had this running in the garage all night long and it's still going no problem, hardly drawing anything. Now the cool thing is just how they made it. So they've got this hook here, right? And they've got a magnet. So I don't think I have anything metal. There we go. So they have this magnet that it can hook onto like a roof or something in your car. And then they also have the clip where you can clip it onto something, right? But you can pinch this right here and move it down and move it all over the place. So you go ahead and open this up and you'll find that there is a ton of cable in here. So you can get pretty far from your Goal Zero and hang this off in a campsite or up in a tent. And it has a really unique system. It goes in here and then puts on that hook and hooks there. So then you can take and run your carabiner all the way down there and hang it and then run this over to your Goal Zero and plug it in right there. And then now you'll have power. Let's actually turn it on. So there you go. There you have power. Now this is your cover or your lid. You can have it in this form. And I'll show it in my Jeep lit with my camping system. But this is more of like a spot system. I really prefer it to be more of a flood system. So you put it on this way and it floods out a lot more. I really like the two systems, how they work. And I'll show you in the car the two different ones, how they work hanging in my Jeep for when in the evening when I'm just hanging out. And on top of here, they have a switch. Now it can have it off like I have it right now, or it can go to kind of a dim like that, and then it can go to the full 350 lumens like that. So that's pretty cool to be able to just reach up and turn it off so you don't have to get to your battery. This could be way in the back or run off somewhere, but if you can just turn it off or dim it down because it's just so bright on the bright light. So these are really cool. You should check it out. They've got a couple different styles of these actual lights that plug into the Goal Zero stuff. When you get one of these, I recommend just grabbing one because they're so useful. They're also chainable. There's a plug here so that you can chain multiple along. I'm going to get the colored ones because they have these mini ones that are colored, all different colors. And it really reminds me of like those old lights that we used to get when I was camping in the old pop-up camper with my parents. And they would hang and they'd make all this weird plastic noise camping. I would definitely want to get those because I think they'd be really cool when I get an awning for the top of my Jeep. I would hang them on them at night and just kind of have that old ambiance feel. It's pretty sweet. Last thing too, a couple magnets here as well. So you can just run your cable off like that and it will magnet flat into something too. So I mean, tons and tons of features packed into these. They're really not that expensive. You should grab one because they plug right into either the 200, 500 or any of those systems. Now the last piece that I really love is this lumen light. It's a touch lumen light. This can plug into anything. Let's put it in here into the USB and it will just by touch turn on and off. And I really want to show you this in the Jeep so you can see how I have it in a pitch black area and you can turn it on and you can have it for something where you're basically reading, or you can also kind of like bank it off somewhere and have it bank off the ceiling and then it's sort of just lighting the whole space instead of what you need. I just think this thing is awesome for a picnic table or wherever you're working real easily, where you just need a light to cast down and then you can simply turn it off. Or if you're reading at night in a camper or a vehicle, you can just read really nicely like this and then just turn it off. It works on anything. So it will actually plug into the Venture too when I turn that on. So it's lit up now too. So you could set this up somewhere and then have a light wherever you want it. And it can light things, and then at night when you want to go to sleep, just kind of tap it and go away. Middle of the night, you're not sure what's going on, you can grab it and just touch it and get the light. You don't have to hit any switch. I really like this Luna Touch light by Goal Zero. You don't see them a lot, and they don't really push them a lot, but they're pretty affordable too. These are just great all around. So that's my system. Let me know what you think. Do you think I could add something or take something away? When it comes to a complete system, when you're out way back in the wilderness, you got to be comfortable with what you have. And I've been thinking about this a lot. I really like this system. I can charge off of wall. I can charge off of 12 volt in the vehicle. This thing lasts a long time for those critical things that I use, which are camera, SLR camera, GoPro camera, phones. Those are the things that I use the majority of the time out in the wilderness. And I can get many, many charges off of this. I can top off phones at night while I'm sleeping. And then when we head out for a hike, I won't die when my phone's left on and it's searching for towers. I can juice it up with this bad boy. And at night, of course, I just love the proprietary stuff that hooks into this because it draws hardly anything to make it work. It's all LED, and you're really not going to draw a ton of power off of these to run those systems because you know how valuable light is when it's pitch black out in the wilderness. So let me know what you think. If you're interested in one of these or any of these things, check the link down below and you can see them there. Till next time, just remember, life's a hike, so hike happy. And make sure you take a lot of power with you so you can power all your good stuff, document all your pictures and things, get them on Instagram, become famous.